Morning all. I think there's quite a lot of interest about how chess is portrayed in the movies, and I had another request just yesterday. KC, can you make a video of the game between Sherlock Holmes and Professor Moriarty from the part 2, Sherlock Holmes A Game of Shadows? It is fun to make a playlist from chess games played in movies. Looking forward to your response. Angle Arsov from Macedonia. Okay, so this is the game position portrayed in the Game of Shadows, and it's actually a variation from a very famous game with Bent Larsen, the great Danish grandmaster Bent Larsen, playing against the great Tigran Petrosian, a former world champion. And but it's actually a variation of that game, and we have here a brilliant first move from Sherlock Holmes. I regard Sherlock Holmes as actually a kind of intellectual superhero. His amazing deductive superpowers, being able to, even from the tiniest of clues, be able to deduce things that other people cannot see. Of course, sometimes you might think it's a bit tenuous, and modern, like inspectors, they would rather rely on concrete evidence and forensics and DNA matching. But Sherlock Holmes has that kind of, in times when technology wasn't so advanced, his deductive superpowers, how would they be applied to chess here? Well, he spots there's a slight clue in this position where black's king safety might be a problem. Can you guess what he played here if I give you 10 seconds starting from now? Okay, queen takes g6 is played, and Professor Moriarty asks him in the film, why is he giving up, his most valuable asset? And the response is, sometimes you do have to do that, sacrifice things to achieve your aim. Okay, so Moriarty believes he's winning here. He takes the queen, and this actually didn't occur in the famous Larsen Petrosian game. This is a variation. So takes the queen. So what happens now? We see Sherlock Holmes playing bishop takes e6 check, and in the backdrop of this there's a discussion about the logbook and about Switzerland being very friendly and private for rich people, from Professor Moriarty, who believes he's going to get lots and lots of money heading his way. But there's a bit of a surprise in the conversation coming up, where Sherlock Holmes had attended his lectures and had noticed his use of a logbook, a small logbook, and wondered how he could have his operations all administrated without any notes. So, as the conversation flows, so there's the game, we see king h7, which might not be the best move from Moriarty. And now Holmes plays rook h3 check, and the only response here is bishop h6, but this does vacate the g7 square. Of course, bishop takes h6 now, and there's a threat here using both bishops complementing, with bishop takes f8 now as a threat to mate the black king. Very dangerous threat there. So the response here from Professor Moriarty is to play rook f5, a cunning response, to be able to answer with rook h5 if this bishop uncovers a discovered check. But okay, perhaps surprisingly, this is just taken off. And I say surprisingly because now black, by taking with g takes, gives his king a very important escape square on g6 now. So if, for example, bishop f8 is played, then king g6. But here Sherlock Holmes has this eventuality covered. He plays now a crushing, silent move. So even though he sacrificed his queen, he can get all his pieces working even better together here. Try and mate the black king in a mating net. Can you spot the next move if I give you 10 seconds starting from now? Okay, bishop f7, and now it starts to be very, very dangerous for the black king. These key squares covered. Bishop f8 now, deadly threat of mate. Check, which is not featured in the film, but just rather queen takes pawn, the knight's pawn. And then the final move, bishop f8, check, and as Sherlock Holmes observes, checkmate. And also it's revealed by Moriarty. Moriarty reveals that the notebook he has been exchanged indeed by Sherlock Holmes. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll give you a link to the underlying game in the description of this video if you want to check out the brilliancy of Larsen and Petrosian in more detail. This is just a variation of that game, which is a classic in its own right. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.